It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what I had coming to me.
Howdy, folks. Welcome in. You have arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name's Steve, guy up on top at Soul Gravy. And tonight we are very fortunate to have our friend JaredDaws on the show. Welcome in, Jared.
Yeah, thank y'all so much for having me.
Yeah, super excited to have you.
Sure.
Hope everybody had a good St. Patrick's Day, recovered. I know we got some big things in terms of artists coming up in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned. If you haven't subbed on YouTube, that's the place we would probably prefer you sub, but you can, wherever you listen or stream your stuff, please do that. And while you're there, go find Jared and follow him as well. So
That's right.
Please.
Yep. Well, Jared, if you don't mind, maybe just to get started, could you take a couple minutes and give us a little bit of your backstory?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, my name's JaredDaws. I'm from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana area. I was raised up on country music, and I've played music my whole life, different genres. I mean, I've literally played anything from R&B to death metal. Just growing up, whatever my friends wanted to play, I just wanted to be involved in music. And everything that I was into wasn't necessarily readily available, like with country music and such. So, yeah, my dad raised me up on the 90s country radio, and my Uncle Mike, he was real big into the Outlaws, so I got a kind of taste of that. Then as a kid, I grew up watching Soul Train and shit like that. So I was just like, man, R&B's cool, and I got into the hip hop side of things. But yeah, I mean that's really me, man. I'm just a body that encompasses music. Since I was a kid, I was raised into it, and I'm still here doing it today. Been on this journey of mine now with this going solo and everything for the last year and a half, and it's been great.
Cool. Well, I think this next section will explain maybe why you have influences from a lot of different areas. So we like to play a game with Soul Gravy, and it's called Why Is This Person Famous? Fortunately, you already told us this, so I know the research is actually correct today. You were born in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah.
So Soul Gravy, all these folks are famous folks from New Orleans. So we have a long list, and we actually had to make some cuts, which was kind of hard.
All right.
But New Orleans, they delivered for sure.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
first one, Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Reese. She's an actress. Yep.
All right. Any movies she's been in?
Sweet Home Alabama for sure.
There you go. All right. Sometimes we just have to prove it because Soul will be like, yeah, I know who that is, but then
No,
he's pressed.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This one also, good chance you're going to get this one.
Okay.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Lee's work. Unfortunately, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Kind of a big day because I think the old report was either coming out today or tomorrow. I don't know, not to get political or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
I think it was today.
Yeah, I think it was. Richard Simmons.
I have had indulged in Little Debbie's while watching Sweating to the Oldies back in the day. So yes, I know who Richard
impressive.
Simmons is.
All right, so going to start to get slightly more difficult, but
Okay.
not incredibly. Better Than Ezra.
I know a handful of Better Than Ezra songs. Good and Desperately Wanting, and saw that they released I think kind of a bluegrassy album the other day on Release Radar. So
Yep, very cool. I was lucky enough to get to see them in New Orleans right before the Sugar Bowl one year, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow, that is cool.
for some reason, I
LSU
was thinking they were a DFW band. I don't know why.
They play here a lot, but I think they're all from or right
gotcha.
around the area, that's for sure.
Makes sense.
DJ Khaled.
I'm familiar with his work. I couldn't name you a song, unfortunately, but I know who he is.
We could just say another one.
Yeah.
And another one. That's right. Okay.
All right, Will Clark.
Will Clark was a first baseman
He was.
for the Giants and the Rangers.
Yep.
Maybe somebody else. I don't know who, but
He was on the, I think the Mississippi State team with Rafael Palmeiro. Pretty good college team.
and then ended up with the Rangers.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if they
Back-
play at the same time or not.
I think they did actually.
Okay.
For a little bit. All right. This one a little tougher. He goes by the name of Sylvester Ritter.
I'm not familiar.
All right, you still have a chance to get it right.
Okay.
His actual, well, that's his actual name. The name
Okay.
that people know him by is Junkyard Dog.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I'm familiar with the Junkyard Dog. I'm an '80s
JYD all
kid,
day.
so
All right.
yeah.
He was my
I
favorite
remember
growing up.
I had the rubber figurine wrestlers
yeah.
when I was they didn't really do anything except for bend, but I had those.
All right. John Larroquette.
He's a comedian or
Yeah,
actor, comedian.
actor. He was in a little show called,
He was in a bunch of movies. I don't know. He was in Night Court, wasn't
he
he?
was in Night Court. Nice
Okay.
job. Pretty hot today
I
so
can't
far.
really remember anything about
Yeah,
Night Court,
I'm
but
impressed.
Yeah. All right. A little bit more difficult.
he hasn't got to the skating or
No, not
tennis
yet.
people yet, so that's where he loses me.
Carl Weathers.
I don't think I'm familiar
Oh,
now.
you're familiar with Carl Weathers.
Okay,
He
tell
was
me
in a
why.
movie with Sylvester Stallone. Actually, several or multiple movies with Sylvester Stallone.
Okay. Is he
Flying High Now.
flying?
Flying High. No. Okay.
No.
Apollo Creed. Does that help?
Oh, okay. Yes, that helps. Yeah.
He also played for the Raiders, which is kind of badass. He was an actor and a
That's badass.
football
Okay.
player. Shout out to Apollo Creed.
I
Can't
know
believe
who
we didn't
Apollo
get that
Creed
one.
is. I didn't
Yeah,
know
all right.
his name.
That's fine. Anne Rice. No.
I don't think so.
Little
Really?
Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. All right. Well, the books sometimes trip us up. So, Louis Armstrong.
I'm familiar with
got
Louis.
that
Yeah,
one? All
yeah,
right.
I got that one. It's what a wonderful world that is, but not. Yeah.
We're gonna finish up with three more. Clyde Drexler.
I'm familiar with Clyde the Glide. Yeah.
Yep. Portland, Houston,
Houston.
University of Houston, part of Phi Slamma Jamma. Shout out to the tournament if you're watching. Marshall Falk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a St. Louis. He was a football player. St. Louis Rams, Colts, I believe.
Yep, he was great. And then lastly, oh no, we got two more.
Oh.
Pete Maravich.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Pistol Pete.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this is the strongest list that we've had in terms of stars.
Because it's more sports.
Well,
That's why I'm
no.
getting them.
You've
Okay.
done a great job, but
Well, thank you.
yeah. All right, last one.
Okay.
Dwayne Michael Carter, Jr.
Why do I know? I'm not sure. Dwayne Carter Jr. I don't think I know who that is.
Also goes by the name of Wheezy.
Okay, I know who that is.
Little Wayne. All right, we'll give you half
that's-
credit on that one.
Yeah, I knew a little bit about him.
Yep. Well,
Lil Wayne, I got you. Okay,
Shout out.
that makes sense.
Shout out to Soul Gravy. He got like
Yeah,
15 out of 17, which is
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
That's
Did
better
great.
than normal. That's,
Also,
Did
shout out
great.
to New Orleans. Holy crap. What a list. We'll put that up on somewhere for y'all. Anyway, all right.
Somewhere.
Next, Jared, this is the weirdest question that we'll ask tonight. The rest of
No,
it's
it's
pretty
fine.
easy from here. We call it the pie question, and it helps at least me kind of center how you view what you do. So I'm going to give you a pie. It's a musical pie, and I'm going to ask you to divide it into 4 sections.
Okay.
The first piece of pie is the creation or the songwriting. Second piece would be recording. Third piece would be performing. The fourth piece would be the business. So everything that doesn't fall into one of those 3 categories that takes up your time. I know we spent a little time talking about some of those things before, but which of those 4 areas do you think you, I guess, kind of naturally gravitate to?
Gravitate is a good word, because I would say I gravitate towards performing. That's
Okay.
where, if most of my time could be spent there, that's where it would be.
Gotcha. did you know that pretty early on, or was that something that you figured
Yeah.
out? You're like, oh, this is the thing.
I think I knew it kind of early on because my dad's a singer and he was in bands and stuff like that. And so as a kid, I had this like little guitar and I would just try and play it out of tune. And I literally remember like I had no idea what it even was other than it being a guitar. I was very young. And so I have a younger sister and nephews and stuff like that. And I would literally like round them up in the living room and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna play music for y'all." And I would just strum this out of tune guitar. And they were too little to know any better, and I was too dumb to know any better. So I was just
Start somehow, right?
I was always fine with being in front of people. Like I've never had an issue going up on a stage with however many people, and the nerves don't hit me for performing, or they haven't yet.
Right.
I'm sure there will come times that I'll be like, but yeah,
Yeah, I
I've
wouldn't
always
jinx it. Just roll with it. Yeah.
yeah, it's true. But yeah, I've always gravitated towards performing.
And then with regard to, maybe let's start with songwriting. Do you have a kind of specific process? I know a lot of the folks that we talk to they all seem to have a unique way of creating. So is there a certain way that you like to go about it?
So for me, like my process is really ugly. Like it's not a good process. And but for me, music typically always comes first. Like I'm not the type of for me when I try and write in the past when I've tried to write lyrics and then put music to it, I feel like I'm sticking square pegs in round holes. Like it's just that's not what works for me. For me, I can write something on guitar and then turn it into a song, and then that whole song can just dictate the vibe and the feel and the melody and the flow of the lyrics. So for me, it's always music first. I don't write lyrics in my phone and then be like, oh, I'm gonna create a song with this later. Never.
Okay.
I never do that. So yeah, always music first.
Okay, and then in terms of once you get to lyrics, is it are you sit down, okay, I'm gonna dedicate this time to do it, or is there a prompt that you work off of, or
Nope.
it just kind of gets delivered to you?
Yeah, no, it kind of just comes to me, and it'll come to me in different ways. Like if I write something, I can hear everything in my head. I don't have to hear the music anymore. Like I don't have to play the music on my phone or anything like that. I can just hear everything in my head, so I can just write the song in my head from there. And so I'll be kind of like playing the riff or whatever over in my head and be like, okay, that'll be a chorus, and then words will come to me, and I can think of the melody. So I don't have. Some people will have to write like while they're holding their guitar and playing it,
Right.
so they can like physically actually hear the music. But like I just hear it in my head once I have it written.
Now, do you? I don't know, so I'll ask. Do you have experience writing with others, or is that something that you prefer to keep to yourself, or maybe something down the road, or?
I don't write a lot of music with other people. I've written every song that I've ever released, and so I write for people a lot. But I've never really like co-written one of my songs with somebody else.
Yeah.
I would be open to doing that, but I've gotten several offers for that, but it would have to be with somebody who's written songs that I love, or someone I know who's just an absolute phenomenal songwriter, because like I don't pride myself on my singing. I don't pride myself on anything other than my songwriting. And so if I was to ever step to somebody to co-write a song, it wouldn't be because I need them to finish something I couldn't complete. It would be because I want their words with my words together.
No, that makes
So
sense.
I've never really done that because I haven't
Right
put myself
situation.
in the position to do it yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. In terms of, we haven't really touched on this, but there's a lot of things that go into the business side of music. Are you taking all of that on by yourself, or do you have?
All of it.
Okay,
I do
so
everything.
yeah, for somebody who may not be super familiar with what an independent artist does, can you give some examples of things that that they might not think of that you're responsible for?
Yeah, so pretty much every day, my everyday ins and outs with the music stuff is I post on every single social media every single day. I post a video every single day. So that's filming, that's creating ideas, filming the content, uploading it to every single platform. Then from there, depending on where I'm at, so like recently with me recently releasing a new song, there's a ton of work that goes around that.
Right.
With having to film videos, with having to get and create budgets around Meta ads, Instagram is Meta now too, but TikTok ads, Google, all that kind of stuff. I have to figure all of that out. I have to daily, I'm scouring the internet for opportunities that I can try and plug me and my band into. It's just, dude, I mean, you think of anything that goes, anything that you could possibly imagine, there's that and more. It's just every single day, dude. And then it's just like some days I will sit down and try and write like some music to something. So I try and tell people that everyone in music who's new into music, they see these overnight successes, which there are really no overnight successes. You know, it's 10 years to be an overnight success.
Right.
And they see this big, like, that's one of the reasons why I hate the internet. As much as I love it, is because you don't see the behind the scenes. You see this person and then boom, they're here. So it promotes a very A to B platform when I preach A to Z. There's a million steps in between. All those steps in between are what's making this possible. It's just bettering yourself and your situation and working at it a little bit every single day. It doesn't have to be major things, but I mean, dude, the list could go on and on and on about what the business of it looks like. But yeah.
So I assume you handle your own booking?
Everything.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what works for you in terms of kind of garnering success?
Yeah. So basically what I do is I will, for one, I utilize a lot of Facebook groups, honestly. Like I'll go into community groups and you know, I've secured a bunch of bookings in the past couple months doing it this way. Like I'll just go in there and literally simply introduce myself. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I sound like. And I'll post a clip, a live clip, especially because everyone sounds good in the studio, you know? So I post a live clip and people really flock to good live sound. You know, there's something to be said about a band that sounds good, if not better, than they do in the studio. Which I wouldn't say we sound better, but I think we sound all right. You know, right. So but yeah, so I'll do that at times. I have sent out like cold emails before. That doesn't really work. You know, music and just like anything else, it's all in who you know. So typically going in these groups or like connecting with people who are already involved in the music scene and being like, hey, this is me. This is what I do. If they don't know somebody, they know somebody who knows somebody.
For sure.
And those kind of things just like build those links. And it's easier to get in the door that way when you already have familiarity. So that's worked for me a good bit.
And then one last question, and so you can fire away or whatever. In terms of volume of shows, like in an average month or year or whatever, how many shows are you playing?
Sometimes it's different. So like 1 month we did 17 shows and then, which that was like literally we had 2 shows a day for several days. For one, we do something in the morning and then something in the evening. So yeah, we did 17 shows 1 month, and then there's some months we might do 2 or 3, or if I'm doing 2 band things, I might have 1 or 2 solos. So I try to be involved in music every week, you know, in the live capacity. I would love for it to be more, of course, but at the very least, at least once a week.
Right. Great.
Well, I know this is can be kind of a generic question, but you mentioned that your family, you know, was in bands and played music as well, as far as your dad. So what kind of, I'm just curious, what kind of music was that, and what kind of music was kind of in your household?
Yeah, so my dad was in basically just like a well, now called classic rock, just kind of like he was in the Zeppelin era of things. And so he played that style of like rock and roll music. And so it was a lot of rock and roll growing up, and it was a lot of country music. My dad was also real big into country. And like I said, my uncle Mike lived with us most of my life, and he's actually from Nashville. And he was older than my dad, so he was real big into to like the outlaws of country music. His nickname was actually Willie because he had big two long braids, and he would literally get so high every day, bro, that it was just like unreal. Like he got one of our cats so high one time on accident that it just fell out the window of the front porch. And so
That's
he was
really
just,
high.
yeah, dude. Yeah. And so it was a lot of country music, a lot of rock and roll. And then my mom's Latina. And so growing up, we listened to like a lot of Selena, and we listened to a lot of Ricky Martin, things like that, a lot of Spanish singers, a lot of like American Spanish singers and stuff like that. So I was real big into like the Latin pop and stuff like that as well.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah.
So when you started playing music, I know you said that you've been in all kinds of bands just for the
Yeah.
sake of being able to play music.
Yeah.
What was the first, as far as a band that got a gig? What was the first band like?
So the first band that got a gig was I remember I was in 12th grade, and me and my friends created this band called A Modest Proposal, which I don't know if you know the story of A Modest Proposal, but it was a story about this I forgot what they call it in literature, but it was like a how would you say that? I guess not true. What they were doing was it was like a pitch to fix the famine of like Ireland or something like that by proposing that they start eating children. And it was some kind of just like fake like funny thing that they were doing or something. I forgot what they call the actual term of it, but so we named it after that, and we were playing, I guess, what's called like post-hardcore music. It was just like pretty heavy music is the best way I could describe it. And that was the first band that we got a gig, and we played over in New Orleans. And so that was really the start of it. I had bands before that, but they were all just like little shitty high school bands that we sucked and thought we were great. Just one of those things. But yeah, that was the first one.
I know plenty of bands that fall into that category.
Yeah, I was in tons of them.
I think that book
Yeah.
is either Scottish or Irish. Like the story comes
Yeah,
from.
it's one of those two. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't remember.
And it's kind of satirical, to say the least.
That's it. Yeah, satire. Yeah.
I gotcha. Um, well, I mean, that's a long way from the music that you're making these days.
Yeah.
How did and I know you're not the only one. There's plenty of people that we've talked about before, that either ventured from one style of music and then eventually just found their way into country music, but when they hit the tour van, they're listening back to everything,
Mm-hmm.
like Rob Linus comes to mind. As far as if I asked him what was his favorite album, it was something extremely heavy after
Mm-hmm.
what I just heard him play. So people, there's a lot of artists that are like that. So how did you kind of stumble into the style of writing and stuff that you do these days?
Well, I was raised on country music. Country music is my roots, and so that was the first music that I ever came to love was country music. Those are my literally my fondest memories, traveling to Nashville and back with my dad and my Uncle Mike, listening to country music in the truck while I was just laying on the floorboard in the back seat, because I was just small enough to fit back there in our old Dodge Dakota square body. And so yeah, I'll never forget that. So it's always been in me, and it's just, I'm from the South. I'm from the real South, like Texas, how, y'all, that is the real South. Nashville and all this, like I love it to death, but it's not the South.
Something
Like
different.
yeah, it's it's not, and there's something there's something to be said about, it's just the culture and everything that's down here. It's like that's what's in me, and that's what's always been in me. And a big part of that is country music, here in the South. And so it's just, it's always been in me. And I only really got away from that as a teenager and stuff because my friends were my influence to dive into new styles of music, and that's what they wanted to play, and I just wanted to be involved in music. Nobody wanted to play country music as kids.
Right.
Like, that wasn't cool. Everyone wanted to be chugging on guitars, like 7 strings and heavy shit, and it was cool and it was badass and it's still badass, but country music that's my roots. So it was
I've thought
it was an
about that
easy way
before.
back.
I've thought about that before. As far as I remember, in my middle school, high school days, that most country music was not cool to say you even listen to country music at least in my area, and now playing these gigs at redneck bars or whatever. Every now and then I run into these people that I went to school with, and they're asking for for country songs after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, hold up now,
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to listen to that in ninth grade, but now it's okay.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny how that stuff, that circle,
Everything circles, bro. Everything, the whole world, it's just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about your style of music and everything. I think we're not quite at halftime, but it seems like a good time to go ahead and introduce people to what your style sounds like. Because, we talked about all these different kinds of flavors of music. So, I'd like for them to know what's going on these days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jared, can you tell us a little bit about Road Dog? And
Yeah, so I wrote Road Dog originally to pitch to Wetzel, and I wanted to try and get it to his team because the song was inspired by something that he said. Somebody asked him if he liked TikTok, and he basically was just like, no, not at all. Like, what, something to the effect of the fact that the internet kind of ruined some of the road dogging. There's not people having to go out there as much and put their music in front of people because the internet has a way of doing that for you, which is good and bad. I love it. I use the internet every single day, but at the same time, I get what he's saying. And so he just said, what happened to all the road dogs? And I was like, that really hit me because I love traveling. I love playing music. I have a big 15-passenger van that we load down with all this stuff. We hop in it, and we go from city to city when we play. And so I wrote the song, and I couldn't let it go. And so I took it up to Nashville and I recorded it with the people that I work with. And so it's just I was very thankful because I got to record that with Pat Lyons, and he plays for Coulter Wall, and Matty Myers, he drums for Sierra Farrell. Yeah. Gregory Garner, he plays bass for Sam Barber. So like these people, when I heard it all together, I was just like, I can't let go of this. This had to be sung by me because I wrote my story, and I was just like, I can't pitch this to somebody because this is literally for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you held on to it. And from what I understand, according to Spotify, you have a video coming out on Friday for it, right?
Yeah, music video is coming out Friday. I'm excited for it, man.
I know it's expensive to do, but man, I sure appreciate people
financially ruin myself.
Well, let's hope that we get lots of eyes and ears on it, and it will pay you back. So
hopefully so.
All right, let's give it a listen. We're gonna go quiet, Soul Gravy, while you play it.
All right. So the music video for this song is coming out the Friday, March 21st. In case you hear this in between now and then, and here's JaredDaws on Road Dog.
Looking over to your side, a window down at 45, and I can't help but sit inside of what I want. I look away 'cause I can't take the face you make when we gotta break. 'Cause I feel the same damn ache, I get it all too well. My home is on this road, and no four walls to bear the load. But this tail slapping on them posts, so I'm docking locked away. This dog on a beat kindled up. I'm so close I can touch the dream that's on the run. And this life is taking me through the mud, but it's heading where I want. So I'm following the blood. I'm a road dog. Out there is where I'll be. This road is home to me. This dog don't wanna be kenneled up. I'm so close I can touch the dream that's on the run. This life is taking me through the mud, but it's heading where I want. So I'm following the blood. This dog don't wanna be kenneled up. I'm so close I can touch the dream that's on the run. And this life is taking me through the mud, but it's heading where I want. So I'm following the blood. I'm a road dog.
There we go.
Yeah, man.
Good stuff.
I'm always
Appreciate
curious when we play songs like that, and you're sitting there you have to listen to it again, and you've had this, I'm sure you've had this, in your possession for a bit. What do you think now when you hear stuff like that when it's recorded? Do you pick it apart, or do you just enjoy it? Do you remember times and people, or what's going on?
Ben, I'm be honest with you, bro. I listen to that song every day. Like, I listen to it recreationally. Because what I try to put myself in the position of, if I heard this song from somebody else, what would I think? And to me, that's one of the best songs I've ever heard. And like, I know that sounds maybe crazy to come out my mouth, but I believe that. I genuinely believe that. That to me is just like, I'm so proud of that song. There's so many songs, like there's songs that I have out there that people love, and I'm just like, I don't really, honestly, don't even like that song. I wrote it, and at the time, like, I loved it. I would know that even then, thinking back, like, no, this isn't the best song that I've written so far. But like Road Dog, dude, that's the best song I've ever written. And it's just, I listen to that song because I love it. I listen to that song because if somebody else came out with it, I would still stream it. That would be just a good release all around. So yeah, I think about it, man. It's just, I'm proud of it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, one, congratulations on having that situation where you're able to be proud of what you're putting out, and proud of the way it's written, the whole thing. Proud of the folks that played on it.
Yeah, I am, dude. I'm proud of my band. It's just, dude. Yeah, I'm proud of every part of that, bro. It's just every bit of the situation that involves that song. It's just certain things that have come together that have worked out because they're supposed to.
Yeah,
you should be proud, and I especially enjoyed hearing the little bit of background you gave on it. I mean, I absolutely could hear some of that cultural bass tone.
Yeah, and
that kind of stuck out, and I wouldn't have been able to pick that out on my own, but that's still cool to know those kinds of things on it.
Yeah, man, it's been incredible working with them, dude. It's just like, I have another song out that Pat from Coulter also produced, and we had some other people play on it, and it's just this group of musicians coming together for this song. It's just, I'm so stoked for it. Just absolutely so stoked for it, dude. I love that song. And I feel like nowadays, like, so many people are afraid to to talk good about what they're doing. And like, I get it, because like I'm not the type of person who thinks that I'm better than anyone in any capacity, dude. I'm literally a poor kid from a bad area, bro. Like, and I'm still a poor kid who just somehow ended up being able to afford a house one day. Like, nothing's changed. Like, you know,
Right.
none of that matters, dude. And so it's just like so many people think that talking good on what they're doing just is going to make them come across as pretentious. But like, to me, like, I love being around people who are proud of what they're doing.
Absolutely.
You
You should
know,
be
it's just
super
like,
proud of your art.
yeah, and it's because it's you know, it's art and it's perceived. And there's other people, dude. There's someone who commented on a video that I posted about Road Dogg, and they literally said that it was a waste of a waste of airtime. And I just commented back. I said that's understandable, because yeah, maybe so, maybe it does suck, you know, to you, but to me, dude, I love this song. Like, it's for real one of my favorite things I've ever
Well,
created and
it's
heard.
not
So
easy as far as to
yeah,
get even to the point where you make a quality recording of something is
yeah,
not easy, and
no,
then um, I mean, writing a decent song is, I mean, it may be easy to a lot of people, but it's not easy.
No.
not
You know, and so whenever all those things come together, there's no reason, and if you're not proud of it, there's no guarantee that other people will be. I mean,
exactly.
you hope so, but if they're
Yeah,
not, at least, you know, you, it can be, like you said, it can come off as selfish, but in some ways you have to kind of be a little bit selfish,
yeah,
or because when you sometimes you play to an empty bar, or don't get results that you want on a post or whatever, it
yeah.
can knock you down a little bit. But if you got your own corner or got your own back, you can keep on
Yeah.
going.
Dude, I'm wearing my own shirt right now, bro. I have no shame, dude. Like,
Yeah, that's
this doesn't
perfect.
this has a big QR code on the back of it. So when I'm
Nice.
walking through Walmart, I'm praying to God that somebody scans that and gives me a chance, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I do not care about none of that. Like, if I'm not advocating for me, why would I expect you to advocate for me?
Right.
You know, so it's just like I'm definitely biggest team Jared there is, bro, because I believe in this.
Yeah,
You know,
me
I don't
neither.
spend all the money on this because it's like it is a business. You know, you put money into a business because you believe in it. I believe in this. I
You're right.
believe in Road Dogg.
Jabo, you take the next, but it is the same thing as if you had some business, in my case, an electrical business, and you put your name on the side of your truck. It's the
Yeah,
same, it's the same thing.
it's the same thing. But when
And
people relate it
standing
to
behind your
music,
work.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing that sucks is like art is something that's so personal. So when you relate it to yourself, people are like, you know, I've never had really an issue of anyone coming across and being like, "Hey, this dude's being arrogant," because that's not how I walk or live my daily life.
Right.
But you know, I am proud of this, and anyone who follows me on the internet knows that I'm proud of it. And I literally tell people, if you do not like what I'm doing, we can be best friends. You can unfriend me and unfollow me. I use my social media as a tool for what I'm doing.
Right.
You could be my day one homie, call me on the phone, still talk to me, and then not like what I'm doing on the internet. And that's totally cool. That will not bother me at all, because that is catered to the people who do care about that kind of stuff. You know,
Right.
it doesn't matter. So I'm advocating for me, man. You know?
I dig it. Um, it is interesting how people on the internet can be really neat. Somebody will you'll get 40 comments of, hey, great job, or I dig
Hmm.
it, or whatever. And then
Hmm.
that one person in the corner shouts, something that's not nice. And
Yeah.
I think it's hard. I mean, I don't know if there's any way to go about dealing with that, because it does kind of sit in your brain and be like, well, I wonder why that person, but
Yeah.
then I think if you take a step away and go, hey, you know what, they probably have some of their own stuff that they're dealing with. And like, there's always a segment of folks that are
Yeah.
going to be that way. So we just a few days ago had Cody Jinks on a podcast, and he was talking about that. So
Jeez.
it made me kind of realize, like, oh, that's not just for XYZ artist. It happens to even the biggest artists, where people say great
Wow.
things, and then one person hops out in the corner, and starts screaming at you, and you're
It's
like,
it's
what's
probably
going
always
on
going to
there?
be a percentage,
Yeah,
whether you're a if you got 10 people in a room, there's going to be one.
Yep.
If you got 100, there's going to be 10.
So I think if you
like
are prepped for that, then it makes it easier to kind of deal with and go, hey, it's just going to happen,
And also, like you said, as far as just whenever you finally, and it probably takes a little while, but whenever you finally get the frame of mind to worry about those other 9 people and not that one, then you'll be way better off.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, like that stuff, like it doesn't bother me at this current moment. I can't say that it ever, won't. But I've been pretty good about it not bothering me. Like I said, dude. So like yesterday, actually for the past few days, I've been submitting my song to like people I know who like curate playlists and stuff like that. Road Dogg came back probably 50% approved, and the other people were like, "Hey, look, like this just didn't hit it for me." And for me, how much I love that song, I still like I realize it's not for everybody. What I'm doing is not going to be for everybody. You're not for everybody, and so it doesn't really bother me because I don't hold that against them. There's things that I don't like. What's to say you don't have to like my song? You don't have to like me. Just go about your life. But it's the people, right, who come out and they're like, "Hey, not only does this suck, but you suck," and then they just commented on the internet. I'm like, that's. I just laugh at it because I'm like, dude, this is insane. The thing that makes me laugh the most is that someone will be like, this, like, I don't even care that you released this. Then why did you comment, bro?
Right.
Like, if you don't care, why did you waste the time?
Seems like you do.
Yeah, my favorite thing to tell people is because my profile's monetized is like, thanks for the money. Dude, they hate to hear that.
Haters
They
pay the
hate to
same.
hear it, bro.
Yeah.
100%. Well, Jared, you have a decent amount of music out for somebody who hasn't been doing it, that terribly long, or at least from when you first released. Just looking at your discography. But how do you go about kind of scheduling what you want to release? I know there's probably some best practices and things that you want to follow or are told that you should follow, but how far out do you plan your music?
So the best way I could put this in perspective is I got the final back for Road Dogg 6 months ago.
Okay.
So every release has roundabout taken like minimum of 4 months to try and get. I tell people all the time that recording music is expensive. Releasing music is even more expensive.
Right.
And people don't understand that because you pay DistroKid or whoever your distributor is $20 for the year, and you can just release songs willy-nilly to the wind. That's cool. Piss them to the wind. Do whatever you want to do. But if you want your music to make an impact, you have to plan things out, and you have to present it to people in a way that they will remember it, or you have to force it to them through an ad, whatever it may be. And that kind of stuff costs way more money than it does to even make a song. And so that's why when, sometimes a lot of people called me crazy when I released an album first with no name for myself in country music. But I knew the reason why I wanted to do that was because when I started releasing these singles that I took a long time to release, I would have a whole discography, just like you said, of I have a bunch of music out, even though I haven't been in it a long time. So now there's a whole catalog of people and like songs that people can go dig through, as opposed to if I just release this one single, well, now you might be waiting 4 to 6 months for the next single, which nowadays that is what I'm doing. But I released that album first so people have time to digest it and they don't get so bored so quickly.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because that's what it is, dude. It's feeding attention spans. I'm ADHD like crazy. My attention span, my wife will ask me to do something 3 seconds later. She'll re-ask me and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's just a product of what today is, especially my generation. Dude, our brains are rotted by the phones, the computers. Like the new generation has the big tablets as big as their body.
Right.
It's just
crazy.
Yeah, you gotta figure out how to refeed people the same information in a new way, and that comes with knowing how to properly release music. I'm not saying that I know how to properly do it. Maybe I spend 4 months doing it and it's not going to work out. I'm just by myself, but I at least can say that I put in 4 to 6 months of daily thinking about it.
Right. Any short-term goals? So things that you want to accomplish within the next year, and then maybe longer-term goals over the next couple years. Anything that you've kind of either written down or said, "All right, this is some I definitely want to do."
Sure. See, here he goes.
He warned us that she was going to
Mr.
make an
Wiggles?
appearance. Yeah.
Yeah. Short-term girl, short-term short-term goal. Short-term goal would be quit my job. You know, I've got it down to I was full-time, and now music has allowed me to be part-time, and I would like, you know, the first half of quitting my job has been a lot easier than the second half.
Yep.
You know, so the second half is my short-term, which even then it's just like I don't really like just want to quit my job because like I love some of my clients. And I think to some capacity I would always do tattooing and, you know, cutting hair.
Sure.
Just for like real close friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Out of like a private studio or something maybe. But just for like the general public to where I'm not I make my own schedule, and honestly I take off a lot because of music, but I'm no longer very good at abiding to someone's schedule that they set for me. And I wasn't very good at that to begin with, but as I've gotten older and I've gotten more into doing what I want to do, I've kind of got it's hard to explain because, man, it's just like so much stuff has happened to me, and it's just so much has changed, and I kind of got the idea of how short life can really be. And I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time doing things that I don't want to do if I don't have to. I'm not an idiot. Like, I know certain things have to happen. These bills
Sure.
have to be paid. I have to make sure that I'm able to provide for my wife and this cat that won't shut up. And so it's just like, I get that. And I would never do anything to jeopardize that. But when the day comes that I'm able to confidently step away and be like, hey, everything's taken care of, that's a goal for sure.
No.
Whether that comes short term or long term, shorter would be better. But I've been patient this far. I can be patient still. So that's definitely a goal, at least.
Okay. Any for sure long-term goals, things that you look maybe 3 to 5 years down the road and go, this is something, whatever it may be, that will be a benchmark?
Yeah, man, I want to play the Opry.
Okay.
You know, that's
Yeah. Why not?
you know, at least the Ryman or the Opry. Like, you know, I feel like once you step on one of those stages, everything changes, you know, a lot in your world. And I've been thankful so far to been able to play stages that I've dreamed of as a kid, you know, in my area, stages that I was like, wow, dude, like if I could just get on that stage. Like growing up, I can't say the name of it yet just because they haven't announced the lineup, and I don't know if I should, but there's a place that I used to go to as a kid, and it's all country music, and I would just see like the big stage and be like, man, like God, if I could just play there one day. And we got the offer this year.
Oh, fantastic.
And so, yeah,
congrats.
Yeah.
I
Congratulations.
appreciate it. And so it's just like things like that have been really awesome. So now it's getting to the point of that's what I would want. I would love to know that
Yeah.
I've made the smallest mark in country music history by stepping on one of those
Step
famous
on both.
stages.
Might
Yeah,
as well knock them both out.
yeah, might as well.
It's it's okay.
Question.
That is it
Question
is.
from
Yeah.
gallery.
Yeah. Do we have a so we especially on the internet, we've talked about that before, but you get a lot of people that downplay what Nashville is and what the Grand Ole Opry is now compared to what it used to be, what
Oh,
the
yeah, of
Ryman
course.
is, right? There's all that's said, and some of it may be a little bit true.
Yeah.
But when you talk to artists that get to play like the Opry or the Ryman, like we talked to Taylor Honeycutt and Jason Eady and all these different folks, right, that have played the Opry, and I would like for those people to tell those artists that it's not a big deal, you know what I mean,
Right.
because they are through,
Massive deal.
over the moon about it. So
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's still.
no matter how much has changed, like I get it. I've done a lot of research and I've watched, performances throughout the years, and I've done a lot of catching up, from the time that YouTube was created until now, watching things that I wasn't around to see. And yeah, of course it's changed, and it's changed over time. And I feel like with the age of the internet and everything kind of gets a little bit political and all of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the people who have stood on that stage have paved the way for people like me. The people that I look up to have played that stage. And aside from the politics, aside from whatever it wants to be, I just want to stand in the same place that my heroes have stood. So I'm not worried about what it was, what it will become. I just know that me standing on that stage shows that I have done something for the world of country music.
Yeah,
Very
no
cool.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
I think we can get to some rapid fire questions there.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we have, Jared, we have a few rapid fire questions for you. And then
All right.
Soul Gravy's going to finish with the most important question of the evening. And that we'll wrap up. But before we get to rapid fire,
Yeah.
folks, if you're watching, make sure that you follow Jared. Go
Please.
listen to his music. Find him on socials. Your social tag is?
Most of the time, it's just different things, but it's JaredDaws, JaredDaws, Jared Michael Dawes, JaredDaws Music. JaredDaws will get you somewhere.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
Dawes is not a common last name.
Yep. And then also, not only we'd appreciate it if you would follow Jared, but also interact. That's important.
Yes.
And
It's probably the most
he'll be there in the
important.
chat for you. So shout out to everybody. Appreciate you being here. All right. First question. Desert Island album. You get to pick one album. Sadly, or maybe not sadly, you're stranded on a desert island. What are you taking?
It's a nice island.
Yeah. It's got some cool stuff.
Honestly, probably Purple Rain by Prince.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
We haven't had that one yet, so that's exciting.
Yeah. Prince is one of my favorites of all time, dude.
Okay. Great answer. Dinner with one historical figure.
I don't know. One historical figure. I feel like Shane Gillis told this really funny story about George Washington, and I feel like that dude would have been a character. Like, despite all that he did, I feel like he would have been funny for some reason. Maybe it's just Shane Gillis' like personification of him from the dead, or like back then. So maybe George Washington, and I don't know why I'm saying that. It's literally just based on Shane Gillis. That could be a terrible answer.
Well, Shane gets to be your waiter in this scenario, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's see. What does your ideal green room look like?
Fruit by the foot, berry tie dye, like the red and blue fruit by the foots.
Yep.
Probably maybe like some Voss water, like the Norwegian glacier water. That shit is just purified tap water. I don't care what nobody says. That shit did not come from a glacier. None of this water comes from a glacier. This shit is like water that is fishbowl water that they boil.
From a town called Glacier.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care what it is, but just some fancy looking water. So I felt good about it. I'm like, damn, bro, we really made it. I don't know. I really like fruit roll-ups. I really like water.
Anything in the room that you would like to have, and in terms of an ideal green room, like aside from food and drink?
I really only care about eating.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I was
answer.
born to eat.
Yeah.
Maybe steaks. I feel like if I could just have some steaks, medium rare, piled up on a plate.
Nice.
Yeah. No utensils needed. Literally, I just bite into them like a barbarian.
All right. Well, I also want to be in this green room. All right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
First concert that you attended, and then the first concert that you paid to go see.
So the first concert I ever went to, my dad's friends were in a band called Zebra, and we went to see them at Six Flags in New Orleans. And so that was the first concert I ever went to. The first concert that I ever paid for. Ooh, I don't know. So, I mean, I played shows with lots of people, and I would pay to go see them play too. And that was kind of just like local shows, but maybe like a big concert. Maybe Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay.
When I was younger, I think I paid to go see them when I was like 18 or something like that.
Cool.
It's one of the first ones I can remember.
All right. 2 more. Last movie you went to in a theater?
Me and my friend Justin went to go see Nosferatu.
How was it?
It was sick. It was so good.
All right.
Everyone. There's so many people who bashed on it, and whatever, bro.
They just weren't ready to receive it.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
so good.
All right. Here's the controversial one, or
Yeah.
maybe not controversial, but tribute
fine.
bands, yay or nay?
I'm fine with it. Yeah, why not? It's just like sometimes it can be weird. Okay, it can be
No
weird.
question.
Yeah. There's times that I have seen tribute bands, and I'm just like, it almost feels like so. It is kind of weird sometimes because like you're just like, damn, dude, like you're really, really obsessed with the Eagles, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I get it. Like, Brian and them they're great, and but like, do you want to base your whole life around the Eagles? I don't know.
Right.
So, but at the standpoint of like, hey, this is like an area that really likes this kind of stuff, and we're doing it to make money.
Yeah.
I get that too. So I'm okay with it. It's not going to be something. I've never went to a tribute show in my life. I'm not hating on anyone who does it. I just don't think it would ever be something that I'm going to outwardly go pay and see.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
Good answer. All right. So,
All right.
Gravy.
Okay. All right. One quick before we get to the final one. I've been liking the sad song question. So what's the when I say sad song, what's the first song that comes to mind?
Maybe sad. So sad, are we saying
I don't know. People say sad songs make me happy. So, that's
yeah, so like me, I love like a good like heartfelt, like really like emotional, maybe not even so much it's sad, but it's like so when you say sad song, honestly, it might not even be sad that really comes to my mind, but the first thing that like
Just
like
not happy.
emotion driven track comes to me is Shake the Frost by Tyler Childers.
There you go.
okay.
Like, I love that. But if I was thinking like just like a super, like a sad song, because I mean, Kate McCannon by Coulter Wall is a sad song,
Right. Yes.
and I love that song, but it doesn't feel sad to me. So like, I feel like
Tyler
Childers, any Tyler Childers tune that's slow is what comes to my head.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. So for the last question, it started off as a joke on episode number 1. Now it is a requirement that we ask this. So, Jared, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack? This is like the perfect question. You said
brownie.
Okay.
Easy. Cosmic brownie. No questions asked. They're disgusting, and I love them. Absolutely disgusting. There's nothing redeeming about a cosmic brownie. It is not good for you.
We don't even know what they're made out of.
180 calories per third, and it's only split into 2 pieces. So they're really fucking you by making you eat that extra half a serving. But if you go look on the back of it, it's split into 3 servings. Why do you serve it in 2 pieces, you lying little fucker? Like, that doesn't make sense. It's just like, why would you
done
do
his
that?
research on this. I like
Oh,
it.
dude,
sure.
disgusting.
Like
absolutely amazing. Love it.
It's completely fair. All of that is completely fair. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the reason why we asked the.
Old Deborah, bro. She really got me, bro.
she's got a few of us.
Yeah.
That's why we asked the question. So
One of my buddies is a distributor for Lil Debbie, so he'll actually bring over. When I was working at the old shop that I was, he would actually bring over like new snacks that were coming out that weren't even on the shelves yet. So we've gone through some Deborah.
like inside baseball stuff going on there.
Dude, crazy, bro. It was
We might
insane.
need
Like
a trip
snacks
to
we'd
the
have.
tattoo shop.
I don't know.
Insane flavors. Things that never even make it to the shelves because they weren't received well.
That's amazing.
It was awesome.
Thank you, Little Debbie.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tabo, you want to take us out?
Yep. Thank you all for joining tonight. We appreciate you. We see you on Facebook. I'm currently looking at you on YouTube. Thanks, TikTok, for being here as always. Go follow my man, Jared Daws, and go listen to his music. And Friday, you'll get to watch a video. So thank you all for being here. Jared, we appreciate you taking time to chat with us.
I appreciate y'all taking the time to have me chat with y'all.